Everything you've been told about Chinese cars is wrong. For years, the industry said they were cheap imitations, unreliable, underpowered, not built for the brutal demands of the Australian outback. Today, I'm going to prove every single one of those critics wrong. Right now, Australian buyers are waking up to something remarkable. In 2024, Chinese brand SUVs accounted for over 12% of new vehicle sales on this continent, and that number is accelerating. Tariff changes, technology leapfrogging, and sheer value for money are reshaping what a premium SUV actually means in this market. The old hierarchy, Toyota at the top, Lexus just above, is being challenged like never before. Today, I'm taking you through 5 Chinese SUVs that don't just compete with the Toyota Prado and Lexus GX, they beat them. You'll see how cutting-edge EV and hybrid technology connects to off-road capability most people never imagined possible. Discover the hidden engineering story behind body-on-frame Chinese builds, and understand why this matters to every Australian who has ever paid a premium for a Japanese badge. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a showroom the same way again. Let's dive in. Welcome to LuxuryVerse. Number 5. BYD Denza B8. Let's start with number 5, and it's a vehicle that most Australians haven't even heard of. That's about to change. Most people still associate BYD with affordable electric city cars, sensible, practical, slightly boring. But inside BYD's premium sub-brand, Denza, a completely different story has been playing out. One of flagship engineering that's been quietly benchmarked against the world's best. The Denza B8 is a full-size, body-on-frame SUV. Underneath, it runs BYD's DiSUS P intelligent air suspension system, the same platform that allows each wheel to adjust ride height in 50 milliseconds, compared to the Prado's passive system that simply absorbs what the road gives it. The B8 offers up to 310 millimeters of ground clearance, adjustable on the fly. Its plug-in hybrid powertrain combines a 2.0-liter turbocharged petrol engine with dual electric motors, producing a combined 425 kilowatts, that's 571 horsepower, and 760 newton-meters of torque at 0 RPM. The Prado's 2.8 turbo diesel delivers 150 kilowatts by comparison. What does 760 newton-meters at 0 RPM actually mean on a dirt track outside Broken Hill? It means the moment your wheels start to lose traction, before you even feel it, the electric motors have already responded. There's no turbo lag, no hesitation. The car is ahead of the terrain before your foot can react. When Denza launched the B8 at the Chengdu Motor Show, Chinese automotive journalists drove it across the Sichuan highlands, roads that rival anything you'd find in the Victorian high country. The B8 maintained composure at altitudes where many SUVs suffer power loss. More impressively, it delivered 115 kilometers of pure electric range before the petrol engine ever woke up. But here's what nobody talks about. As of early 2025, the Denza B8 isn't officially available in Australia yet. It's launching in late 2025. Some parallel import dealers are already fielding inquiries, which begs the question, why is this at number 5 and not higher? Because the lack of local dealer support and parts network is a genuine concern for outback touring, and that's a lesson we'll revisit throughout this list. Number 4. LDV D90. Number 4 is the one that changed the minds of the skeptics, because this vehicle isn't coming to Australia, it's already here. It's already proven itself. For years, the word on the street was simple. If you're heading into serious Australian bush, you take a Prado or a Land Cruiser. Full stop. End of conversation. The LDV D90 arrived in Australia in 2018 and quietly began dismantling that certainty, one adventure at a time. The LDV D90 is a genuine body-on-frame 7-seater SUV. Its 2.0-liter turbocharged petrol engine produces 184 kilowatts and 410 newton-meters. That's modest on paper compared to the B8, but here's what matters. It comes with a proper four-wheel drive system, a twin-speed transfer case, locking rear differential, and front, center, and rear differential lock capability. You know what else has those exact capabilities? The Toyota Prado, at a starting price of 73,200 Australian dollars. The LDV D90 Pro starts at $47,884 drive away. You're talking a $25,000 difference for virtually identical off-road hardware. Think of it this way. That $25,000 gap covers a rooftop tent, a dual battery system, recovery tracks, a quality drawer system, and 3 weekends of fuel. The LDV D90 doesn't just take you to the same places as a Prado, it hands you the money to gear up when you get there. In 2022, a group of Australian overlanders drove a stock LDV D90 from Darwin to Cape York and back, one of the most punishing routes on the continent. The vehicle completed the journey without a mechanical failure. Their verdict? Quote, "We stopped apologizing for it around day 3. That story circulated through the four-wheel drive community and shifted something real. But here's the part that the LDV faithful don't always want to hear. Long-term reliability data is still building. 5 years of anecdotal evidence is not the same as 30 decades of Prado service history. Spare parts in remote locations remain a question mark. That's why it's number 4, not higher, but the trajectory is undeniably impressive. Number 3. GWM Tank 300. Number 3. This is where the conversation changes completely, because the GWM Tank 300 doesn't try to be a practical family SUV that also goes off-road. It was engineered from the ground up to be a capable off-roader that you can also live in, and it draws a very direct line in the sand against 2 icons, the Toyota Prado and the Land Rover Defender. Most people believe the Land Rover Defender's off-road pedigree is unmatched at its price point, and for decades that was absolutely true. Then GWM's tank division entered the conversation, and the British establishment got uncomfortable. The Tank 300 is body-on-frame with a 2-liter turbocharged petrol engine producing 162 kilowatts and 380 newton-meters. But raw numbers don't tell the story here. Configuration does. Standard equipment includes a twin-speed transfer case with 4 low-ratio gearing, electronic locking front and rear differentials, genuine tank turn capability that allows it to rotate on its own axis, and a wade depth of 700 millimeters. That's 70 centimeters of water crossing capability without snorkeling. The Land Rover Defender 110, which starts at $79,000 in Australia, has a wade depth of 900 millimeters. The GWM Tank 300 starts at $52,990, a $26,000 difference for similar water crossing specification. Picture yourself crossing the Finke River on a Cape York Transit, 700 millimeters of water. Your tank, figuratively and literally, is the GWM. The river doesn't know what brand it is. The rocks don't care about the badge. What matters is that the car doesn't stop. And at Finke, the GWM Tank 300 doesn't stop. In independent testing conducted by a major Australian four-wheel drive publication in 2023, the GWM Tank 300 was placed on the same obstacle course as a Land Rover Defender 90. The Tank 300 cleared every station. The Defender cleared every station. But then the testers checked the purchase prices. The Tank 300 cost $26,000 less. The testers' conclusion, and I'm paraphrasing here, was simple. The gap that once existed in this class has effectively closed. But here's what even tank fans admit. The interior quality, while massively improved, still doesn't quite match Land Rover's cabin experience. And GWM's Australian dealer network, while growing, still lags behind established brands in rural areas. For a dedicated overlander who services their own vehicle, the Tank 300 is a revelation. For someone who needs dealer support in long reach at 6 a.m., it's still a risk worth carefully weighing. Number 2. The Denza B8, also known as the BYD. And this is where we stop comparing Chinese SUVs to Japanese rivals and start comparing them to European ones. Most people believe that if you want a genuinely premium SUV interior, quilted leather, panoramic displays, ambient lighting that feels tailored to a mood rather than slapped on, you go to Lexus or BMW or Mercedes. That belief is about to be tested. The Denza B8 is a mid-size premium SUV built on BYD's e-Platform 3.0. It's available in PHEV configuration with a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine paired with twin electric motors, producing 240 kilowatts and 530 newton-meters. But the platform story is secondary to the interior. The B8 features a 15.6-inch rotating central touchscreen, pivoting between portrait for navigation and landscape for entertainment, a 12.3-inch driver display, a separate front passenger screen, rear cabin screens, and a ceiling ambient lighting array with 256 color tuning. The entire dash architecture is built around a zero-gravity front seat design developed with aerospace ergonomic principles. The Lexus GX, for comparison, comes with a 14-inch touchscreen, exceptional fit and finish, and a starting price of 116,000 Australian dollars. The Denza B8, in its highest specification, undercuts that by approximately 25,000 Australian dollars, with more technology on board. Imagine flying business class, full flat seat, ambient light shifted to warm amber, a screen exactly where you want it, silence from the electric drivetrain, except you're doing 110 kilometers an hour down the Hume Highway on your way to the snowy mountains. That's the Denza B8 experience. It doesn't feel like it costs what it costs. It feels like considerably more. When international automotive journalists first drove the B8 at its Chinese launch, the initial assumption was that the interior would be impressive by Chinese standards. What they found instead was an interior competitive with European premium crossovers at 110,000 Australian dollars and above. Reviewers used words like genuinely surprising and paradigm shift. One admitted he sat in the back seat for 20 minutes at a press event simply because he didn't want to get out. But here's the honest limitation. The Denza B8, like the B8, is not yet officially distributed in Australia at scale, launching late 2025. Pioneer buyers moving through gray import pathways must consider warranty support, software updates, and parts availability. The technology is here. The infrastructure is catching up. Number 1. The GWM Tank 500. And I want to be direct with you. This isn't just the best Chinese SUV for Australia. In terms of genuine all-around value against the Prado and Lexus GX, it is arguably the best SUV in its class, regardless of country of origin. That's a big statement. Here's why it's earned. Most people in the premium SUV market believe they face a binary choice: Japanese reliability and resale with modest technology, or European luxury with expensive running costs. The Tank 500 refuses that binary. It is large, capable, equipped, and it is being sold, serviced, and supported by a growing GWM dealer network across Australia right now. The GWM Tank 500 is a full-size, body-on-frame luxury SUV. In PHEV specification, the headline configuration, it pairs a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 with twin electric motors for a combined 255 kilowatts and 648 newton-meters. That figure exceeds the Toyota Prado's 500 newton-meters. The Tank 500 PHEV can travel up to 110 kilometers on pure electric power before the engine activates. For Australians who do most of their driving in urban and suburban environments, school runs, surf trips, weekend escapes, that electric range covers the everyday. The PHEV covers the extraordinary. Ground clearance 224 millimeters, weight depth 700 millimeters, a full suite of terrain modes, sand, mud, rock, snow, tank turn capability, air suspension across all four corners, a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, a 14.6-inch central display, and a 23-speaker audio system. Here's the test. Take everything the Prado does well: reliability reputation, off-road hardware, interior comfort, 3,000 kilogram towing capacity. The Tank 500 matches or exceeds it. Take what the Lexus GX does well: premium finishes, smooth road manners, brand prestige. The Tank 500 matches the finish quality, exceeds the technology, and costs $30,000 to $40,000 less than a comparably configured GX. That gap doesn't buy you a slightly better experience. It buys you a different category of living. In 2024, Australian motoring journalist and overlander Tom Smalley drove a GWM Tank 500 PHEV from Brisbane to the tip of Cape York, over 4,000 kilometers round trip, including punishing corrugated dirt roads. His verdict, posted in an 80,000-view YouTube documentary, the Tank 500 completed the journey without a single mechanical issue. He described the combination of electric silent running on paved sections and genuine four-wheel drive hardware on dirt as, quote, "the first time I've felt genuinely over-prepared for Cape York instead of just adequately equipped." And here's the honest truth. Resale value over a 10-year horizon remains unproven. In Australia's used car market, a 2015 Prado holds its value with extraordinary consistency. A 2025 Tank 500? Nobody knows yet. For 3-year ownership cycles, this matters less. For decade-long ownership, it's a legitimate consideration. But if we're measuring right now, capability, technology, luxury, dealer support, and value, the GWM Tank 500 wins comprehensively. This is the new benchmark, and the Japanese and European manufacturers know it.
Now, I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. If your budget was $70,000 and you had to choose between a new Toyota Prado or a GWM Tank 500, which one are you taking and why? Because I think the answer says a lot about where the automotive world is actually heading. If this breakdown gave you insight you couldn't find anywhere else, hit that subscribe button right now. We go this deep on luxury automotive and lifestyle content every single week here on LuxuryVerse. Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you know someone debating between a Prado and something Chinese right now, share this video with them today. You might save them $30,000. Until next time, stay curious, stay discerning, and welcome to the LuxuryVerse.